fellas. As you can hear, my voice is mostly gone from shouting at the television, as I'm sure many of you were doing as well. This is the immediate aftermath, so to speak. I haven't seen all 22 and I haven't had a chance to sleep on it. And yes, I'm annoyed and pissed and heartbroken and all that, as I'm sure you are as well. Uh, Before I forget, grab the like button, I guess. I don't like this any more than you do, but it would be helpful to us if you did. Grab that like button and subscribe. Anyway, I'm going to try and keep this brief, but I don't have high expectations of that because, just annoyed and pissed. And this was a very, very winnable game. We had this game. We led 19-0 at the end of the third quarter. Okay, in the first minute of the fourth quarter, it was 19-8, but we led 19-0 at the end of three quarters. So not only did we have a 19-point lead, but it wasn't like we had a 40-21 19-point lead where both teams had been running up and down the field scoring. You're like, oh, gee, I hope our defense can finally, stop them. No, we were winning 19-0. They had scored no points. So with 10-14 left in the fourth quarter, we are up 26-8 after being up 19-8. But 10-14 left, we're up 26-8. Just to add insult to injury, 26-8 is an 18-point lead. The NFL teams had won 1,602 straight games while leading by 18 or more points in the final 6 minutes. 1,602 times in a row. If you have an 18-point lead with 6 minutes left in the game, you win that game. So with 5 minutes and 14 seconds left, we had an 18-point lead. But with 5:13 left, it was down to 26-16 because, again, not only did they score, but of course they made the two-point conversion. Why do other teams always make their two-point tries against us? With 3:51 left, we're up 26-23. Uh-oh. And with 1:51 left, Denver is up 30-26. Denver scored 30 points in the fourth quarter with 1:51 left. 30 points in the fourth quarter. Because remember, with 14-18 left, they finally got on the board. Now there's 1:51 left. But we marched downfield with a couple of penalties that helped us. But we take the lead back 32-30 with 33 seconds left. I'm going to get into all the details about why the score is 32-30 when we have 5 touchdowns instead of 35-30, but I'll come back to that. But we're leading with 33 seconds left. And of course, this was the final score change. This last few slides was just the score changes. So here is the final score change. Spoiler alert, in case you hadn't watched the game, he makes this kick and we lose. So they didn't score 30 points in the fourth quarter. They scored 33 points if you add the last 33 seconds in. So, yeah. Okay, let's backtrack to some of the things that happened in that fourth quarter. Yes, I get it. This shouldn't have been an interception that Jackson Dart threw. He didn't see the inside linebacker, Sternad, and it was a bad read and bad play. But why did we throw the ball? Denver has 1 timeout left. There's 4 minutes and 56 seconds left in the game. It's 3rd and 5. If we run the ball again, they call timeout again. Now they're out of timeouts. And there's, 4 minutes and 50 seconds left. So even if we didn't make the first down, and I don't know that we wouldn't have made the first down, handing the ball to Scatterboo is a good thing. But even if we didn't, they would have been out of timeouts. And then we punt on 4th down, probably get them down around their, 15 or 10, right? Because we'd be punting from like hour 37, let's say. Anyway, coulda, woulda, shoulda, but yes, we should not have thrown this pass. We should have made them use their last timeout, and we would have been in better position. But instead, we do this. And again, I get it. Dave's just trying to build some confidence in his young quarterback, and this was a terrible read. And if Sternad isn't there, maybe that throw gets through to Theo Johnson, and maybe we're all saying, wow, what a gutsy call. But that's not what happened. And it's a results-oriented business, and your result was bad. So Now, notice on this play, they're out of timeouts already. I'm sorry, this is at 26-23. We still have the lead. Another third down, this time with just under 3 minutes left. They're out of timeouts now, right? So running the ball here would take off 30, 40 seconds, maybe 42, 43 seconds, because we could have punted with, a second or two left. And again, a punt is not a bad play. We punted anyway, but we'd have knocked off another 40 seconds. So instead of throwing an incomplete pass, which is what this was, which stops the clock with 2:51 left, running the ball would have got the clock down to like 2:10-ish left. So why didn't we run the ball there when they were already out of timeouts? They had used that last time by then. So we punt, they get the ball. We stop them on first and second down. Now it's third and 11, and they're trailing 26-23, and they're out of timeouts. Where would you think the ball was going? Well, first of all, probably past the sticks. This is the first down. Probably past that, and ideally towards the sidelines where you get out of bounds and stop the clock again. Yes, I know the 2 minute warning is coming up, but you might get two plays in before the 2 minute warning if you're Denver, especially if the first play either isn't far enough for the first, not either is incomplete or isn't far enough for the first down. So you're thinking you're in two down territory. You're not punting on fourth down, and it'd be great if we can get out of bounds. So that's where I would have thought the ball was going. Our defense didn't seem to be prepared for that. There is literally one person going past the sticks initially. Yes, this guy winds up going past the sticks, but one person going past the sticks. You know he's going past the sticks. Why aren't you looking for the ball and why aren't you helping him, Dane Belton, who there is finally getting. Who were you covering? Dane Belton, what were you doing? I like Drew Phillips. I think he's a very good tackler in the run game, very inconsistent in the passing game. Maybe he should be that money backer instead of an actual cornerback. Okay. Our DBs really can't tackle. I don't think it was Jerome Henderson's fault last year. He should still be here. This is Evan Ingram. Really? 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 All you had to do was tackle him instead of trying to tap him out of bounds, Drew Phillips. And of course, Tay Banks doesn't make the tackle. So let's watch this from this angle. Drew Phillips has him dead to rights and just touches him like they're playing two-man touch. Tackle him. And what does Tay Banks do? Nothing. Yes, okay, Tay Banks was technically engaged by a blocker, but really? I mean, that guy's behind you. He can't really block you well because that would be clipping. And you just run off the field. And so that's another, extra 15 yards that we didn't have to give up. Banks, why do we pay you? I don't understand why we pay you. This is Tay Banks. Really? Again, with the not going outside and making the person with the ball run back towards your help? Again, giving up the sideline? I learned that in Pee Wee football when I was 12. You don't give up the sideline. Right here, all you have, this is a 320-pound man. You are faster than him. Get outside and make Bo Nix cut back up where your help is. Look at all these white jerseys coming down to help you if you just get outside. But no, you stop and let this man bully you inside where Bo Nix just bounces outside where there's nobody but grass. And here's Dane Belton getting run over by Mike McGlinchey because he took so long to come across the field and make the tackle that a right tackle came up and made the block. Okay, this is Mike McGlinchey. This is Dane Belton. Let me say that again. This is Mike McGlinchey. This is Dane Belton. The play is going this way. This man beat you to the spot? Really? Okay, so it was never any doubt where the ball was going, what the play was, right? Immediately he's running. So You took a little time to read this. He's already taken two steps and you're still looking that way. Fine. But still, here's Mike McGlinchey. Here's you. You're still to the right of Mike McGlinchey. Again, here's Tay Banks not getting outside and forcing him back into help. Here's Tay Banks saying, I really don't like this whole physical thing. Please don't touch me. And he just makes a business decision, jumps out of the way. And you are now, Dane Belton, engaged by Mike Lynchy because you didn't get over here fast enough to make the tackle. Mike McGlinchey beat you to this spot. If you had gotten over here before Bo Nix, which again, let's look at where they are. Bo Nix is at the 24. This is so you're about the 5, which is perhaps too far back in the first place. But if he's at the 25 and you're at the 5, halfway between that is the 15. You couldn't at least got to the 10. You were at the 5. You couldn't have got to the 10 before he got to the. But instead, you get washed at the 3 by Michael Lynchy for the touchdown. I believe the first line in that song is "Hey Jude, don't make it bad." Maybe it should just be "Hey Jude, don't make it," because that seems to be your theme. Hey Jude, don't make it. Seriously, we have 5 touchdowns and 32 points because you missed the first one wide left. So you said, you know what I'm not going to do is miss an extra point wide left. So you missed it wide right. And the one after the third touchdown, we didn't even trust you to try it. We went for a 2-point conversion, which I thought then was a terrible decision. At 19-0, letting you have a chance to kick the extra point again, which could have conceivably made it 20-0. I'd like a 20-point lead better, right? That's a 2 8s and a 3, and we're tied at 19. But with a 20, can't do that. You need 3 touchdowns. Whatever. So, Jude, I just don't understand. Why are you still on the team? So, 33 seconds left, and we take the lead again. Dodge the bullet. And whew, at least we know Shane Bowen is not going to have us in a prevent defense again, right? We saw the Dallas game, and so did he, and we all talked about what a terrible idea it is to be in prevent. So at least we know we're not doing that again, right? Right? The ball was snapped here. This is the 23-yard line. I don't know what you're doing, right? We're already rushing 3, which I think is at least 1 more than we needed to rush. And rush is a strong word. Does this man look like he's rushing? No. But technically he is. Like he is not really, but technically he is. Well, what are you doing? Like, what exactly are you doing? What purpose do you serve here? If he wants to run, I mean, are you the spy? If he wants to run, please let him run. Again, they're out of timeouts and they're back when they're 23. I'm pretty sure he's not going to run them 30 yards downfield. But you know what could get them 30 yards downfield? The football thrown. There. 2 hour 47, 30 yards downfield. 30 yards downfield. Where were you in California? Who are you covering? I can't. I just don't understand it. How could we let this happen again? And let's look at it from this angle. So I just want you to watch him. Guess who that is? Yes, your favorite safety, Tyler Nubin. He is standing flat-footed at the 40. Standing flat-footed at the 40. He's at the 40 when you're at the 30. He's at the 40 when you're at the 35. He's at the 40 when you're running past him at the 40. Who are you covering? Why would you watch this man run right past you? By the way, guess who caught the ball? Same guy. Now, 34, Bo Braid, I think is his name, who I've never heard of before. You're at hour 40. Again, there's no receiver on our side of the field yet. Why are you at our 40? Why are you over there? There's no receivers over there. This guy is covered by these two. I don't know why you're way over there, but this guy is covered by these two. Why do I need you over there? This is where the receivers are. This guy thought it was for him, Courtland Sutton, but no, it's for Mims. And 30 yards. Oh, by the way, Drew Phillips, who I just told you is a really good tackler, but not so good in coverage, is running stride for stride, but once again, isn't looking back at the ball. The ball is in the air already. The ball is coming. There's the ball. And you are jogging alongside him like, well, I've done my job. No, you haven't, because the ball's coming. So now I'm going to show it to you in slow motion because I enjoy abuse and pain, and misery loves company. So there's someone standing still at the 26-yard line, doing nothing, covering no one. There's someone standing still at the 40, doing nothing, covering no one. And there's Drew Phillips running right alongside the guy who's going to catch the ball, doing nothing. Here's number 34, Bo Braid, at our 40, covering no one. And there's now 5 Giants surrounding the guy who caught the ball. But I don't need you to surround him when he's laying on the ground with a 30-yard completion. I needed your help a little sooner. Okay, as if that weren't enough, then they get an extra 5 yards because injured Brian Burns couldn't get back in time for the spike. I don't blame him. He's injured. He's very gutsy. I commend him for even being in the game. But let's see what happened after that. Surely not Banks not turning around again, and surely not Newbin getting over late with the coverage, with the help. Now, this line is actually not on the field, like this is on television, but not on the field. Neither is this one for that matter. So this is about where people think they need to get to kick a field goal. Just giving you some frame of reference of what these lines mean. And that orange line is the first down mark. So I can't wait to see this in all 22. But Nick said, oh, Tay Banks is covering you? He never finds the ball. I'll just throw it right at his head. And you just catch it over his head because, of course, he's not going to be able to defend the ball. And Tyler Nubin will be coming over too late to help. I don't need you here after he makes the catch, Nubin. I don't need that. You know that Tay Banks can't cover anybody because he can't find the ball. You needed to be over there 3 steps ago so you could break up that pass because now it's a chip shot. So, what are my takeaways? First and foremost, we have to fire Shane Bowen. Shane Bowen should not get on the plane coming home from Colorado. We should fire him now, before we board the plane. We should cut Jude McAtamney before we get on the plane. And Ben Sauls, the kicker who graduated from University of Pittsburgh last year, who I've been lobbying for since before the draft, who I wanted to take instead of Corey Black in the 7th round, who hasn't missed an extra point in 4 years. And wouldn't those 3 points have been nice today when we had 5 touchdowns and only 2 extra points? Sign Ben Sauls today. Not Young Wei Koo, Ben Sauls. He's very good at extra points. His long last year field goals, I think, was 57 or 58 yards. So it's not like he doesn't have a strong leg. And he's unemployed. And that's what Jude McAtamney should be. We need to cut Tay Banks no later than tomorrow. Sure, let him fly back, but he should be cut no later than tomorrow, unless we can trade him tomorrow, which I can't see how we get anything more than a bag of balls for him. But if we can get a bag of footballs for him, I'd take it, or maybe a blocking sled, I'd take it, but cut him tomorrow. Fire Shane, because ultimately this is his roster and his staff. Bowen, Jude McAtamney, Tay Banks, all of those people were hired by Joe Shane. So Shane needs to go today. Let the new GM decide Daboll's fate. I'm okay with firing him. If the new GM thinks we can keep him, that's fine. If he wants to demote him to offensive coordinator and maybe promote Mike Kafka to head coach, whatever. Daboll makes too many questionable decisions and has too many unprepared players in key moments for me to consider him a good head coach. Does he do some things well? Sure. But he also does some things that make you scratch your head, like that timeout he called last week when Philly was about to take a delay of game penalty, and he saved them by calling a timeout just before the half. Like letting Shane Bowen put us in a prevent defense again. Like letting Jackson Dart throw the ball on third down on those last two possessions when both of those times, if we had just run the ball, the clock would have run out before they had time to kick the winning field goal. So any number of things that Dable has done drive me batty, and I'm ready for him to go if the new GM wants him to go. Anyway, we could easily be 4-3, maybe even 5-2, but instead we're 2-5. So I no longer think we need to trade away draft capital in a season like this. We're not going to be a contender in this season. There's just too many things stacked up against us, and we do too many things badly. If we can get a wide receiver for some players that we're ready to get rid of anyway, like Singletary and Banks and Neal and Hyatt, then fine. But otherwise, let's just draft one next year. There's always good receivers in the draft. Here's what I think are our biggest needs in descending order. In this order, most important, defensive coordinator. Need a new one yesterday. We need a new free safety. Tyler Newman is terrible. We need new inside linebackers. Muasau is not good. We need another wide receiver. I don't disagree with that. I think the other things I mentioned are even more important. We need another cornerback. I agree with that. But again, I think the other things are more important. If we had a better defensive coordinator and a better inside linebacker group, we wouldn't, our cornerbacks wouldn't be exposed as much, especially if we also had a better free safety. We do need a guard. Our guards are okay, but that's all. And of course, we need a place kicker. But really, with all the other holes we have, I guess place kicker is the least important of that list. So that's what I think we need. We need it right away. And here's our QR code to see our episodes whenever you want to. That's what I think. What do you think? Please let me know. Please drop a comment, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Misery loves company. We want to share in this pain and grief together. Clay from Brooklyn, for Paul the Fellas, all about Big Blue. And I'm out.
Big shout out to El Marquis Productions, the talent behind the music and production here at Football with the Fellas. It's all about Big Blue. Their beats bring energy and excitement to every episode. El Marquis' skills in mixing, mastering, and creating top quality sound make the podcast come alive each week. For your own projects, check out elmarquisproductions.com and take your sound to the next level.